Everyone, my name is Andrea Toci and I'm from Carpi, and today I'm going to present to you my underreported story through print. At the beginning of this project, we were presented with a Jamboard in which the first question asked was, in your words, what is an underreported story? Although the students defined as a story that is present in modern days, but its value is often underestimated by society, and not enough attention has been paid to it. Then our teacher showed us this video from Pulitzer Center.
An underreported story covers an issue that is important, but isn't getting the attention it deserves.
These can be stories that aren't necessarily in the breaking news headlines, or they're covered, but missing critical perspectives and nuance.
On the Pulitzer Center website we read the articles regarding the Indigenous Memory of the Pandemic Project, a series of underreported stories. My attention was taken from the article about the dreams that the tribe in the Amazon had had before the arrival of the pandemic about this blog, specifically this painting by Wilder. What stands out about it is the presence of nature and a middle-sized skull on the left side of the painting. Wilder explained that the skull spilling blood represented the virus that was being spread in the community. However, the trees were the protective shield of the people. They had their branches ending in spears as a form of resistance. The graphic novel project by Stanford University told us about the impact of the solitary confinement issue in the United States through the story of a fictional character. Through it, we got to make connections about how we, as citizens of this world, should be aware of issues and situations that exist in modern society. One of the last documentaries shown before starting our own project was J.R. Agnes Varda's Faces Places, which made me think about the stories even more. This documentary made me think the stories can be found everywhere. It can be about a person, an organization, a situation that hasn't been amplified enough. While we were going to make our own unique story and produce it, our teacher gave us an assignment in which we needed to tell a true story from our life and draw it in the form of a stories. I used my midwinter break to explore topics that would be interesting to make the print about. One of them was about the economic impact of the inflation rates in Albania in the elderly lives. Another one was about the UR Sunflower Foundation, but I came up with another one, and this one is the one that I decided to make the print about. I interviewed the teacher, I showed them the print, and here is their reaction before learning what the story was about.
This is really beautiful. Looks like there's a building, like a city. One of those airplanes with signs in the sky. This looks like the sign that would be in the sky, kind of cover them, right? Like things are growing and changing a little bit. And I love that the words transparency are the ones that are bolded in a transparent background. Be transparent when it comes to whatever's happening in a city.
So now let me tell you about it. The Tirana Riverside project in the neighborhood 5 Mai is a new building planned by the Albanian government to build a new and modernized neighborhood in this area. Building complexes and a series of apartments means that the existing houses have to be destroyed. However, the inhabitants made a lot of protests because they said that there was not given a document by the government to ensure that there would be future compensation for their houses. Even the People's Advocate of Albania said that there was no clear document that was provided to clear the situation. Before trying to make a design about this story, I decided to take a look at the amplifier.org website in order to see the campaigns and in order to see how the posters would look like. And I was surprised by their simplicity. I was surprised because they just had a central subject and also the words, and that was enough to deliver the message, and that it was what I needed to do also in my print. Thus, I decided to make some sketches to show the situation and amplify their voices while spreading awareness to the other people. Some designs were complex, some of them had a lot of ideas incorporated, but all of them were unique. And in the end, I came up with a word to deliver a message, the word transparency. As it can be seen, the drawing has two sides, the future and the past. In the past, there were destroyed houses, clouds, and rain to symbolize and portray the despair of people. On the other side, the left side, is the future with the tall buildings and the sun that will lead to an even brighter future for the people. However, in the middle of the print is the most important section. The people are located there with the message, "We want transparency." While this is true for them, it is also valuable for the Albanian society, because on the other side of the story, the government assures that it will compensate the people affected by this plan by paying rent bonuses until the building of the new apartments in the same area are completed. So, where is the truth? How does it stand? Thus, I use printing to print the story and share it with the world. While it is important to me as a person because it's something happening in my home country, it is a way to show a new reality to people from a different culture. I don't think that a lot of people in the Western countries specifically would portray the idea of the country's modernization by collapsing the people's houses. This is a story I want to spread awareness and to emphasize that there is a global impact to it, as the situation can be present in also other parts of the world.
This was my first time to try to make woodblock prints. So not all the times it was a perfect print. However, now let's hear back from the teachers that I interviewed about their reaction after learning what the story was about.
I guess it's just my frame of mind, right? Like where I live in New York, destroying people's homes to put property. Yeah, I would also want transparency to know what was happening. Differently now, I see this bottom part not just as like a caption, but as the river. Me sad, and I'm so sorry that this is a story I didn't know of in another country, and I know that these are the kind of things that are happening in this country and even in this city. To check my privilege a little bit and just be aware of my context when I look at art, because yeah, I really went an entirely different direction with it, and now that I know what it's about, I want to educate myself and learn more.
I learned a lot through this project from learning from other students because they also decided to focus on topics or on underreported stories from their home countries. Some of them were about the women's rights, some of them were about their national animals, some of them were about the child labor, and I learned a lot about them because that is what printmaking is to spread the awareness, is to spread the news, is to amplify the voice. So that's why we chose the printmaking process for this project, because by printing, you document the story. It's a way to document it and to spread awareness about. This is my video. Thank you very much for watching it, and I hope you enjoyed and learned about my underreported stories.